Welcome to the Salt Strong Podcast, disrupting fishing entertainment as you know it. Prepare to laugh. Prepare to get to know fishing legends in a whole new and unfiltered way. And on occasion, you might even learn a thing or two about fishing. Here's your host, Joe Simons. Like diamonds.
Take 3 deep breaths when this happens. Hey everybody, Joe Simons, like diamonds, in a very calm and relaxed manner for this podcast. It's all about breathing. Breathing slow, breathing deep, breathing intentional. So let me backtrack and tell you why I'm doing this, hopefully short podcast. I have had a crazy number of people in the last 10 days or so have reached out to me via text. I've talked to a couple people personally. I was in a C12 meeting where it came up, and the topic of this slow breathing has come up over and over again in different ways on how it's helped people cope with anxiety, panic attacks, meaning in the midst of it. I met with someone recently, just ran into them, an old friend I hadn't seen in a while, and we're talking about how my old video that I had posted on YouTube quite a few years ago now about how I overcame anxiety without using drugs. And a big part of it was breathing. And they were talking about how this really deep, and when I say deep, I don't mean like breathing in slow, just meaning deep within almost like within your belly. It's more like a belly breath. So you're not actually your lungs aren't, expanding like that and doing those real deep breaths like you would think before you would, jump in a lake off a diving board or something. But this is more of a deep, almost like a belly breath, like deep within your soul, to really just slow you down, to kind of anchor you, and to really just slow your mind and your body from having an anxiety attack. And they said how much it helped them. In C12, it came up about how much it's helped a few people there just get in a better state of mind before making even a big decision. I have personally experienced it recently with our own daughter. I've shared Shauna a few times, and Shauna, if you're listening to this, I know at some point you probably will, maybe when you're older. Love you so much. Shauna is 14, going to be 15 here soon, in those lovely teenage years. And for those of you listening who have been through that, maybe multiple times, you know what I'm talking about. It is a different point in their life. And one of the best things I ever received was from a book about how to raise a teenager. And it mentioned the fact that this is it's primal, meaning, for thousands of years, teenagers, like once you became really 12, you were an adult. I mean, for thousands of years, think about even just 400 years ago, 300, 200 years ago, when you became 12, there was 12-year-olds that were working full-time jobs just, 150 years ago. It wasn't that long ago in the big scheme of things when you think about, we've been around for thousands of years. But so for the majority of mankind, when you became 12, you were getting married in many cases. You had a full-time job working in the fields. You were doing stuff that our kids, our 12-year-olds, let alone our 18-year-olds, would have thought as, well, that's crazy. But if you think about just 200 years ago, our great-great-great-grandparents, they were getting married and having kids at 12 years old. They were working fields. They were many times living on their own or supporting a family at 12 and 14 years old. So this is very, very primal. It is almost wired into us that by 14, we are craving independence. We are craving getting away from our parents. We don't know it all, but we think we know it all, and we want to know it all. We are literally just craving independence because that is what our ancestors did for a very, very long time. The same reason that we have the fight or flight. It is just built into us from back in the caveman days of, you hear a saber-toothed tiger coming behind you. You instantly, your heart races and you flee. It's fight or flight. You have to move as fast as you can and don't be the slowest person running away from this thing. So all that being said, it helps me to understand that my daughter and all teenagers, they are craving independence. They don't want their parents on top of them, meaning blah blah blah. You do this, You're late. Whatever it is, your homework's not done. They're craving it, and so many times they lash out. Usually verbally, hopefully not with their fists, but usually it's verbally, or they're real short with you. There's just tension there, right? And I don't know anyone who's had a teenager where there wasn't some tension, not every second, but there is going to be tension. It is natural, is really what the book was saying. And so knowing that, I have had to take some breaths before I respond, because how I am wired, and at least I am aware of this, is I reply quick. I don't think on things generally. I'm quick-witted. I go back at them fast, and sometimes I even regret what I say. And so I'm finding myself with our daughter, Shauna, when she does have those moments where she is frustrated and she throws out a thing real quick, instead of me just going right back at her as the parent, which by the way has never helped. It usually just makes things worse. I'm finding that when I breathe in through my nose and out through my mouth, and depending on the amount of tension, sometimes up to 3 times, but even just that one time, it slows the whole moment down. Just like I did right there. It is wild. All of a sudden, she's more alert. She's attentive versus if I just come back and get your homework done. I don't want to hear you. Stay in your room. It doesn't do anything good. And then there's got to be an apology later. So instead, what I'm finding myself doing here, and I'll do it right in front of her. And now she's looking at me, and it's almost like I've disarmed her. It's really weird. If I do it 3 times, she's like, "What are you doing, Dad?" It's almost like she's worried about me. I've literally changed the entire script. It's crazy how well it works. I just got to remind myself to do it every time. And it really does. It disarms her. Like, she's almost getting frustrated because she's expecting to fight. And she wants to be right. Teenagers think they know it all. And I'm like, Shauna, I hear you. This is frustrating. I understand why you're frustrated. How can we help you out? It changes the whole dynamics of everything. It changes the whole conversation. It changes our relationship. Is it still perfect? No. There's still part of that teenager that just wants to be right and kind of wants to butt heads sometimes. But doggone, it has made a huge, huge difference. And the irony is, as I mentioned to start this podcast off, I have been reached out to numerous times this past week. I don't know what it is. One person was asking if I had any other secrets on the deep breathing. It's wild how this slow breathing, this intentional slow breathing, it kind of slows down everything. It can slow down your heart rate. It slows down, the anxiety if you are in the middle of a panic attack. And I've done it a couple times, because some people have asked too, hey, yeah, you overcame this daily anxiety attacks. Do you still ever have it? Yeah, occasionally things pop up for whatever reason. I can't explain it, don't know why. But when I feel it coming on, even in the midst of me being around people in a social setting, that's usually where it would happen. I will find some way to, ask a question. Like if I'm talking and eyes are on me and that's when it's happening, I'll find a way to kind of divert a question to the other person. And I will just take that slow moment while I'm listening still intently, but just doing this slow breaths just to slow everything down in my body. And it is amazing. If you can get 3 breaths, one is a great start, but if you can get 3, it changes everything. So if you're dealing with anxiety, do those 3 breaths. It always into the nose, because that was something else my buddy Kevin had flip-flopped. It's always in through the nose and out through the mouth. And you don't have to make a scene. This doesn't have to be some big orchestrated event. You could do it really, really slow and no one would ever know. And same with you're in a fight, whether it's your spouse or kids or teenagers, grandkids, whatever it is, coworkers, just try doing that before you respond. Try doing it before you make a big decision. It is amazing just the clarity and the peace that you have when you do these slow breaths. So it's in through the nose for a couple seconds, and it depends on your scenario. Obviously, if you're in the in a board meeting or something, and all eyes are on you. You can't just sit there and maybe do really, really long ones, but try to go as long as you can and then out through the mouth. Nice and slow. You're not, trying to blow over papers in front of you. Just nice and slow. Once again, no one should even notice you doing it, but you will feel it. You will feel it. So just wanted to share that. It's come up quite a few times. I've noticed even I'm going to say a game-changing event with our own daughter, our own teenager, when I can slow down, and I'll watch if my wife doesn't, if she is just in a mood where she's lost her patience and she goes right back at, our daughter, nothing good happens. And I'm like, all right, Lauren, let's slow it down. Slow down the conversation, and all through breathing. It is amazing. Try it out. In through the nose for a couple seconds, up to 4 seconds if you can, 6 seconds if you can. Everyone's lung capacity is different. And then out through the mouth. Nice and slow. And sometimes out through the mouth, I'll try to get that 6, 7, 8 seconds. I can hold my breath for a long time. I got big lungs. Just like extend that breath on the way out. And all of a sudden you're just going to be like, whoa, I've got new clarity. Just try it. Start doing it. Make it a daily practice of just doing it. Even, maybe just even in the morning, anytime that you feel there's any sort of stress in your life, watch what happens. It is amazing. And if you ever do need help with anxiety, overcoming the panic attacks, I do have that video. You can just Google or go to YouTube, Salt Strong anxiety video, or I think it's the best way to find it. Just Salt Strong anxiety video, how I overcame anxiety, the 3 steps without medication. I believe that's what the official title is, without drugs. Really, really powerful. Hundreds of thousands of views. And I know it's helped a lot of people out like it did me. Those are things that I learned through my decade plus of dealing with it. So love you guys. Hopefully this was helpful. And if you have teenagers, God bless you. I am feeling it now, but feeling more confident with this little hack, if you will. Try it out with your teenagers, or if you even have grandkids, share it with your kids if they're having issues with some of their kids, and just kind of just fights, just the dumb stuff that 2 days later you don't remember what you were fighting about. But it is part of life, unfortunately. And remember, these teenagers are just wired from thousands of years, just like we still have weird habits from thousands of years of just being wired into our bodies as humans. They want independence. I mean, 200 years ago, a 14-year-old was starting to have a family. They were off on their own. They were working full time. They weren't in school. The word teenager is not even over 150 years old, to put it in perspective. That was not a thing, because it was like, you were a kid. And then once you became 12, 14, you went and did life. You weren't part of you weren't a kid anymore. You were an adult. So the word teenager is a new thing. It is less than 150 years old. It was a term, I think it's less than 100 years old, actually. So it was a term that we created because we kind of wanted to extend this time with these kids to give them a little bit more time to become an adult. Whether it's wrong or right, that's a whole other podcast. But that is the truth. This is a very new thing in the big scheme of things, and that's why they are fighting against us, if you will, because they just naturally want that independence. They naturally want to go out on their own and not be under their parental supervision. So that is why it is happening. You are not alone in the tough times of raising a teenager. So love you guys. Any thoughts, questions, or anything that's helped you out with breathing or dealing with teens, etc., let me know. Joe@saltstrong.com. Talk to you on the next episode.
'Cause fishing, it's in my soul, it was pain.